Hello everybody, welcome to The Big Story. This is the place where we are looking at those amazing stories in the Bible. To kick us off today, I have got some superhero logos and I want you to guess the superhero and to think about their superpowers. Here's the first one. Yep, that's Captain America, and his superpowers, well, I know he's really strong and he's got his amazing shield. Then on the back we have the Incredibles, a family of superheroes. One of them is really strong, one of them is stretchy, one of them is really fast, one of them can disappear. And then there's Jack, and we can say a lot about Jack. Then we have this one, and of course this is Spider-Man. And of course his superpowers, he can fire web, he can climb up tall buildings, and again he's really strong. And then there's my favourite, Superman. Superman, I think, has got it all. He is really fast, he's really strong, bullets just bounce off him, he's got X-ray eyes, he can see through walls, he's got laser eyes, and the one that I've always wanted, he can fly. Now, these are all superheroes with superpowers, and I'm just an ordinary person. I haven't got any superpowers. But that doesn't mean that ordinary people can't be heroes. At the moment, the person that was probably everyone's hero is Captain Tom, who is now 100 years old, and from his birthday onwards he is now known as Colonel Tom. He is somebody that everyone has come to respect, an amazing man, and everyone has grown to love him. He's become our hero. And then of course there's all those people that are working in hospitals at the moment, looking after people that are really sick, and all those other people that are caring for people in nursing homes and in the community as well. All these ordinary people are amazing heroes as well. Now today we're going to look at a man who was an unlikely hero, a very ordinary man, but he has chosen to do something really amazing. Today we're going to look at the story of Gideon. The people of Israel were in trouble. It was the Midianites. They kept coming with this huge army and invading the country, stealing and destroying everything. The people needed a hero, and God chose someone, but he made a very unusual choice.
Gideon was a farmer, and he was out working when God spoke to him. "Greetings, mighty warrior," said God. "Who, me?" said Gideon. "Yes, you," said God. "I've got a special job for you, Gideon. I want you to raise up an army and to lead them into battle against the Midianites." "Who, me?" said Gideon. "Yes, you," said God. "Don't worry, don't be afraid, I'm going to be with you." Don't think Gideon quite liked the idea of that. And then he started to think, hang on, am I really hearing God speaking to me? Maybe I've been out in the sun too long and I'm just imagining things. I think I need to think about this. I think I need to put this to the test. That night before Gideon went to bed, he prayed, "Dear God, if you really are telling me to go and lead an army, you've really got to prove it to me. What I'm going to do, Lord, and please don't be angry with me, I'm going to put this fleece outside my tent. In the morning, if it is you telling me to do this, may all the ground be dry and the fleece be wet. Then I'll know that it's you who's been speaking to me." And he went to bed. In the morning, when he woke up, he looked around, and sure enough, all the ground was absolutely bone dry. But when he picked up the fleece, it was just full of water. When he wrung it out, all this water just poured out into a bowl. Oh no, he thought, God is telling me. No, this might be a fluke. I'm going to do it one more time. So that night he did the same thing. He prayed, Dear Lord, don't be angry for me testing you on this, but I really got to make sure that you're telling me to go and lead an army into battle. This time I'm going to put the fleece outside. May this time the fleece be dry and all the ground wet. And just like before, he went to bed. In the morning, when he wakes up, he looks out and all the ground is glistening. The morning dew has come out and the ground is soaking wet. But when he picks the fleece up, oh, it's absolutely bone dry. Oh no, now I know that God is telling me to go and lead the army into battle. I'm just going to have to do it.
So Gideon set to work and he did a really good job. He raised an army of 32,000 men. And when they were all ready, they marched out to fight the Midianites. But on the way, God spoke to Gideon. Gideon, hang on. I don't want you to have all these men. Some of them have got to go home. So Gideon stopped the army and said, right, God has told me not all of you have to come and fight the Midianites. If you don't want to, you can just go home. Whew, thought 22,000 men. They were quite relieved they didn't have to go out and fight the battle, and they turned round and went home. This meant Gideon now only had 10,000 men. And I think he was wondering how this was going to work out. The Midianite army was huge. So they carried on marching. And a little bit later, God spoke to Gideon again. Gideon, I don't want you to have all these men. Right, what we're going to do this time is, in a while, they've been marching through the desert, they're hot, we're going to come to a pool where they're going to want a drink. I want you to watch what the soldiers do. If, because they're so thirsty, some of them just rush into the water and they just shove their head in the water and they start licking up the water like dogs, those are the ones you're going to have to send home. But the ones who keep their weapons and their armour with them and they just kneel down, scooping up the water, keeping an eye on what's going on around them just in case the enemy attacks, those are the ones you need to choose. So they came to a pool of water and Gideon said, okay, we're going to stop now, everybody can have a drink. And thousands of soldiers just ran into the pool, throwing down their armour and their weapons, and they just shoved their head in the water and started to drink the water just like dogs. But others, a small group, they didn't throw their weapons away. They went up to the edge of the pool, they knelt down, and very carefully they were scooping up the water, whilst at the same time making sure that the enemy didn't attack. Right, said God, now you know what to do. All those who shoved their heads in the water, you've got to send them home. Thousands of them. Gideon now only had 300 soldiers. And I think he was wondering, how is this going to work out? Well, God said, don't worry, Gideon, I have got a cunning plan. That night, Gideon and the 300 soldiers sneaked up into the mountains that overlooked the valley where the Midianite army was camping. They could see this camp and it went on for miles. They could see all the campfires. There were thousands and thousands of Midianite soldiers. But Gideon did what God said. He gave each one of his soldiers a torch, one of those flaming torches, but they were covered with a pot so you couldn't see the flame. And each soldier was given a trumpet to blow. And throughout the night they all went round the mountain, finding their position, waiting for the signal to light their torches and to blow their trumpets. Meanwhile, God is down in the camp and he's moving through the camp and he's putting fear into the Midianite soldiers' hearts. They're starting to get scared. They're wondering if they are going to be attacked by a huge army. All these soldiers from Israel are going to come and kill them in their beds. When everybody was in place, Gideon gave the signal. and all his 300 soldiers, they smashed their pots and their flaming torches came to light. They took their trumpets and they blew them. And they shouted their battle cry, "For God and for Gideon!" Meanwhile, down in the Midianite camp, the soldiers there wake up, and as they look into the hills around them, they can see all these flaming torches. They can hear the trumpets. They can hear the battle cry, "For God and for Gideon!" They think they're going to be attacked by hundreds and thousands of Israelite soldiers, and because they've got fear in their heart, they panic. They're rushing this way and that way. They're bumping into each other. They get so scared. They get so confused. They even start fighting with each other. When this had happened, Gideon saw his moment, and he and his 300 soldiers ran down into the Midianite camp. And because of the panic, the Midianite army just stampeded. They threw down their weapons and legged it. And Gideon and his 300 soldiers just chased the Midianites out of the country. Gideon had won the day. Or really, Gideon had won the day. He'd become a hero because God had helped him. The great thing about these stories is that God chooses ordinary people, and with his help they do amazing things. And I think that also tells us that he knows us, and he also wants to help us do amazing things as well. Each one of us can, in our own way, with God's help, become a hero. Today I want to finish with a prayer, and this time I want to pray for all those heroes, all those amazing people who are looking after very poorly people at this time in hospital and in care homes and in the community. Dear Lord, I do thank you again that you know each and every single one of us, that each one of us is special to you, that you love us, and that you want to help us and do amazing things through us to help others. We pray especially today for all those people, the doctors, the nurses and others working in hospitals, for all those who are caring for people in care homes and in the community. We pray that in the same way you will be with them, and that you will strengthen them and help them today to be heroes in looking after others. Amen. Thank you for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you soon.